Am I the asshole for letting my sister go thirsty during my birthday dinner? It was my birthday last weekend, and my family decided to celebrate at a cozy little restaurant downtown. The vibe was perfect: dim lights, clinking glasses, and the smell of garlic bread wafting through the air. I was thrilled to be surrounded by my parents, my brother, and my sister Lisa, who's notorious for her passive-aggressive antics. Lisa has this habit of dropping hints instead of just saying what she wants. Like, if she's chilly, she won't ask for a sweater. She'll just shiver dramatically and sigh, "Wow, it's freezing in here, isn't it?" until someone else suggests turning up the heat. It's exhausting, but I've learned to tune it out. That night, we were all settled at a big round table, menus in hand, laughing about old birthday memories. The waitress, a bubbly woman named Sarah, came by to take our drink orders. I got a mojito, my brother ordered a beer, and my parents stuck with wine. Lisa, though, just smiled and said, "Oh, I'm fine for now." I caught a glimpse of her tapping her fingers on the table, a telltale sign she was annoyed, but I brushed it off. It was my day, after all. As the meal went on, Lisa started her usual routine. "Wow, those cocktails look so refreshing," she'd say, eyeing my mojito. Then, "Isn't it just so warm in here? A cold drink would be amazing." I exchanged a look with my brother, who rolled his eyes. The waitress swung by again, asking if we needed anything. My brother got another beer, I grabbed a water, and Lisa. She just waved her hand and said, "No, I'm good." Her tone had that edge, like she was daring us to notice her martyrdom. Dinner was delicious. Steak for me, pasta for Lisa, and we all shared a giant tiramisu for dessert. But Lisa's comments kept coming. "Gosh, I bet another round of drinks would make this night perfect," she said, staring at her empty water glass. I ignored her, focusing on my parents' story about my disastrous 5th birthday cake. By the time we paid the bill, Lisa was visibly sulky, her arms crossed, lips pursed. When we got home, the dam broke. Lisa snapped, "I can't believe how rude you all were at dinner." I blinked, confused. "What are you talking about?" I asked. She huffed, "You all got your drinks and nobody thought to order one for me. I was practically dying of thirst." My brother chimed in, pointing out that she'd said no when the waitress asked. Lisa's face turned red. "That's not the point. You should have known I wanted a cocktail. Everyone else got one." "You let me go thirsty on purpose? My own family should have taken care of me." I was floored. Taken care of her? This wasn't the 1800s, and I wasn't her personal servant. I told her it was my birthday, and I wasn't playing her mind games. My brother backed me up, saying she could have ordered a drink like an adult. Lisa doubled down, insisting we were inconsiderate and that in the future we should just order for her. The argument spiraled, and by the end I was exhausted. I love my sister, but her entitlement drives me up the wall. Was I wrong to let her stew in her own hints? Am I the asshole for not ordering a drink for my sister? Am I the asshole for keeping my bottle baby kitten despite my roommate's allergy claims? A few weeks ago, I was driving home from work when I spotted a tiny, shivering kitten on the side of the road. She was barely a week old, eyes still closed, no mom or siblings in sight. My heart sank. I couldn't just leave her there, so I scooped her up, wrapped her in my jacket, and took her home. I named her Tinkerbell, and let me tell you, she's been a handful but a total joy. Bottle feeding a kitten is no joke. Every 2 hours, day and night, mixing formula, keeping her warm, and helping her hit those milestones like a proud parent. She's mastered the litter box now and loves curling up on my chest for naps. My room's basically her nursery, with a cozy crate and blankets to keep her safe. I live with my roommate, Jess, who's 25 and has 2 adult cats of her own. She's always been chill about her cats, claiming they're emotional support animals, though she never mentioned that until recently. When I brought Tinkerbell home, I told Jess right away, explaining she'd stay in my room to avoid any issues. Jess nodded, said it was fine, and life went on. Tinkerbell's been growing like a weed, and I've been meticulous about keeping her contained. Door closed, no sneaking into Jess's space. For 5 weeks, everything was smooth. No complaints, no problems. Then, out of nowhere, Jess dropped a bomb. She cornered me in the kitchen and said, "I'm allergic to your kitten. You need to rehome her." I was stunned. Allergic? She has 2 cats. I asked if she was sneezing or breaking out in hives, but she admitted she had no symptoms, just a vague feeling of allergies. I pressed her, pointing out she'd grown up with cats and never mentioned issues before. Her excuse? It's different with kittens. That didn't add up, especially since she waited 5 weeks to say anything. I started wondering if she just didn't like Tinkerbell's presence. Things escalated when Jess claimed her cats were ESAs and that Tinkerbell was stressing them out. I reminded her that her cats roam the apartment freely, while Tinkerbell's confined to my room. She didn't have a good comeback, just doubled down, saying I was selfish for keeping a kitten that could make her sick. I held firm, telling her I wasn't rehoming Tinkerbell. She's bonded to me, and honestly, I'm attached too. Plus, shelters are overflowing with kittens right now. There's nowhere for her to go. Jess got huffy and threatened to report me to our landlord, claiming I'm breaking some pet rule. I checked our lease. It's vague, but allows pets with permission, which we both have for our animals. Now Jess is giving me the silent treatment, slamming doors and making snide comments about irresponsible pet owners. I feel bad that she's upset, but her story doesn't add up. If she's allergic, where are the symptoms? Why wait so long to speak up? I'm not about to abandon Tinkerbell over what feels like a power play. Still, part of me wonders if I'm being too stubborn. Should I try harder to find a compromise, or is Jess just blowing smoke? Am I the asshole for not rehoming my kitten? Am I the asshole for refusing to join my fiancé at events where his ex will be? I've been with my fiancé Tim for a couple of years now, and his 12-year-old son Jake is a great kid. I met Jake about a year into our relationship, and we've built a solid bond. He's polite, curious, and loves talking about video games and soccer. But there's one big issue: his mom, Sandra, Tim's ex. From the moment I met her, she's been cold, and it's all because of where I'm from. Apparently, her country has some historical feud with mine. Tim warned me early on that Sandra hates anyone from my country, which was news to me. My brother's married to someone from Sandra's country, and I've never heard of this supposed beef before. Sandra's rudeness started subtly. At Jake's soccer games or school events, she'd make snide remarks about stereotypes tied to my ethnicity. Things like how people like me are supposedly lazy or dishonest. I'd laugh it off, partly because I didn't want to cause a scene, but also because I noticed it bugged her when I didn't take the bait. Tim tried talking to her, politely asking her to cut it out, but she'd just shrug or smirk. It was annoying, but I figured I could handle it for Jake's sake. He's worth it, and I didn't want to make things awkward for Tim. Things took a darker turn recently. I started noticing Jake acting weird around me, like he was holding back. One evening, we were watching a show together, and a character from my country popped up on screen. Out of nowhere, Jake said, "Look, you're both slur." My stomach dropped. I thought I misheard, so I asked him to repeat it. He mumbled something else and clammed up, then bolted to his room and locked the door. I was shaken, but gave him the benefit of the doubt. He's a good kid, and I didn't think he meant harm. I told Tim what happened, and he sat Jake down for a talk. Jake admitted his mom had been telling him to call me those slurs, saying they were just words to describe me. I was furious, but kept it together. This morning, when Sandra came to pick Jake up, Tim confronted her about it. I stayed inside, but could hear her through the door, laughing loudly and saying, "Well, she is a slur, and a slur, so I didn't say anything false." Her voice dripped with glee like she enjoyed the whole thing. Tim came back looking defeated, saying she refused to apologize or stop. I'm at my limit. Sandra's behavior isn't just rude, it's toxic, and now she's dragging Jake into it. I love Tim and Jake, but I'm tired of subjecting myself to her venom at every event. I told Tim I don't want to go to Jake's games or performances if Sandra's there. Tim got quiet, saying he understands, but that it might make things harder for Jake. I feel guilty because I don't want Jake to think I'm abandoning him, but I can't keep smiling through Sandra's attacks. Is it wrong to draw this line to protect my peace? Am I the asshole for refusing to attend events with Sandra? Am I the asshole for giving my daughter's things back after they were taken as punishment? Last month, our quiet suburban street got a little drama when my 7-year-old daughter, Lily, found a fluffy puppy wandering in our front yard. She was over the moon, chasing it around, giggling as it licked her face. I was at work, but my husband, Tom, was home. He saw Lily playing and assumed she'd taken the puppy from somewhere. Turns out it belonged to our neighbors, who came storming over, accusing Lily of stealing it. They were frantic, saying their dog was missing for hours. Tom, embarrassed and wanting to smooth things over, apologized profusely and grounded Lily, taking away her favorite stuffed animal and assigning extra chores like sweeping the porch and sorting laundry. Lily, bless her, was devastated. She's a sensitive kid who loves animals and would never steal. She kept sobbing. "I didn't take it, it was just there." But Tom was firm, saying she needed to learn responsibility and respect for others' property. When I got home that evening, I could tell something was off. Lily was in her room, clutching a book, eyes red from crying. Tom filled me in, and I nodded along, thinking it was a misunderstanding we'd sort out. A couple of hours later, the neighbors knocked on our door again. Their teenage son, red-faced, admitted he'd taken the puppy's leash off during a walk and it had run off. It ended up in our yard by chance. They apologized for accusing Lily, admitting they'd jumped to conclusions. I thanked them for clearing it up, but inside I was fuming. Lily hadn't done anything wrong, and she was still being punished for it. I confronted Tom in the kitchen, keeping my voice low so Lily wouldn't hear. "She didn't steal anything," I said. "Why is she still grounded?" Tom doubled down, saying it wasn't about the puppy anymore, it was about her refusing to do the chores he'd assigned. "She needs to learn to listen to her father," he said, crossing his arms. I couldn't believe it. Lily had stood up for herself, insisting she didn't deserve punishment for something she didn't do. And now she was being penalized for that too? I told Tom I wouldn't let our daughter be taught that she has to roll over and accept unfair treatment just because an authority figure demands it. The argument got heated. Tom called me unreasonable, saying I was undermining his parenting and setting a bad example. I shot back that I'd rather die than teach Lily to accept mistreatment without question. I went to her room, gave her back her stuffed animal, and told her she didn't have to do the extra chores. She hugged me so tight it broke my heart. Tom's been cold with me since, saying I'm making him the bad guy. I get that parenting is a team effort, but I can't stand by and let Lily think she has to swallow injustice. Still, I wonder if I overstepped by going against Tom's discipline. Should I have handled it differently? Am I the asshole for giving Lily's things back? Am I the asshole for making my daughter pay for her stepbrother's broken headphones? My daughter, Emily, is 16, from my first marriage, and she's a bright, creative kid who's always buzzing around the house with her art projects and music. My wife, Sasha, has a son, Mark, also 16, from her previous marriage. Mark splits his time between our place and his dad's, but he's been staying with us more lately because his dad's on a work trip. Mark's a good kid, polite, keeps to himself, and usually has his expensive noise-canceling headphones glued to his ears. They're his prized possession, a gift from his dad, and he says they help him stay calm when things get too loud or chaotic. With Emily's school out for the summer, she's been home a lot, and our house has been livelier than usual. Mark's room, which doubles as a storage space when he's not here, has some of Emily's art supplies and random stuff stashed in it. I've caught Emily poking around in there before, looking for her sketchbooks or markers. I told her to stop going through Mark's things, but Sasha brushed it off, saying, "It's just kid stuff, and most of his things are replaceable." I disagreed but didn't push it, thinking Emily would listen. Then, disaster struck. One afternoon, Mark left his headphones on his bed while he was at school. Emily, rummaging for a misplaced sketch pad, accidentally knocked them onto the floor and stepped on them. The frame snapped clean in half. When Mark got home and saw the damage, he lost it. I heard him yelling from the living room, calling Emily spoiled, and saying she had nothing to back it up. It was loud enough that Sasha and I rushed in. Emily was in tears, apologizing, saying it was an accident. Mark wasn't having it, pacing and fuming about how much those headphones meant to him. I stepped in to calm things down, sending Mark to cool off and talking to Emily. She swore she didn't mean to break them, but I told her she had to take responsibility since she was in his room against my rules. Sasha thought I was being too harsh, pointing out that Mark's dad had already offered to replace the headphones immediately, no problem. But I stuck to my guns. Emily needed to pay for them. I grew up with the value that if you break something, you make it right, no matter who can afford what. I told Mark's dad that Emily would cover the cost, even though he insisted it wasn't necessary. Now Emily and Sasha are upset with me. Emily says it's unfair because Mark's dad can buy 10 more pairs without blinking, and Sasha agrees, saying I'm making a big deal out of nothing. They think Emily should just apologize and move on, maybe do something nice for Mark instead. I get that Mark's getting new headphones either way, and maybe I'm digging in too hard. But I want Emily to learn accountability, not that she can dodge consequences just because someone else has money. Still, I'm starting to wonder if I'm being too rigid. Should I let this go since the headphones are already being replaced? Am I the asshole for making Emily pay for Mark's headphones? Am I the asshole for refusing to give up my plane seat and telling a father to behave himself? Last night, I boarded a quick 70-minute flight, exhausted from a long work week but looking forward to a brief escape. I'd booked a window seat, my go-to because I love staring out at the clouds, and honestly, I need that wall to lean against for a nap. Aisle seats? No thanks. Too many elbows and drink carts bumping into me. When I got to my row, a 2-2 setup, I found a kid, maybe 7, in my window seat, with his dad, about 50, in the aisle seat. Across the aisle, the boy's mom and sister were settled in. I politely pointed to my seat, and the dad immediately asked if I'd swap so they could sit together. He said their seat was in the row behind. I asked if it was a window seat, and he admitted it was an aisle. No thanks, I said, explaining I only swapped for another window seat. He stood up, pulling his son out of the seat, and muttered, "So you want to sit next to my kid?" I shrugged. I don't care, I just want my window seat. His tone shifted, dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, you're a very nice person. I mean, not a very nice person." I wasn't having it. "It's none of your business," I said, "and be polite." He scoffed. "I'm not." I stared him down and said, "Behave yourself." He didn't reply, just looked away. His wife watched the whole exchange, silent while the kid fidgeted, clearly uncomfortable. I stood my ground not because I wanted to be a jerk, but because I'd paid for that seat and wasn't about to get guilt-tripped. They'd clearly tried to pull a fast one, hoping I'd cave. A guy in the row behind saw the tension and offered to swap, taking the aisle seat next to me so the family could sit together. Problem solved, but the dad's attitude stuck with me. I get that families want to sit together, but why not book seats in advance? I checked the airline site later. Seat selection was available when they booked. If they couldn't afford it or forgot, that's not my problem. I didn't owe them my seat, especially after the dad got snippy. I was tired, craving that window view and a quick nap, and I didn't appreciate the attempt to shame me into giving up what I'd paid for. Still, part of me wonders if I could have been kinder, maybe offered to help find another swap. But the dad's behavior, acting like I was the bad guy, made me dig in. Should I have just let it go? Am I the asshole for refusing to swap seats and telling the father to behave?